And we, as Muslims, must understand what a great insult it is to our beloved Prophet Muhammad when we choose anyone besides him as our ultimate role model. Allah has sent him as the perfect example, the most complete human being, the one whose character, conduct, and life were divinely guided. When we look up to others, celebrities, influencers, or people of status, and make them our models in life, we turn away from the one whom Allah himself chose as the example for mankind. What could be a greater loss than that? This is why we must be careful, especially the youth today. Many young men do not wish to marry, and when asked why, their reasons often revolve around physical appearances, a certain shape, complexion, height, or look. They rarely ask, does she have religion? Does she have good character? Does she fear Allah? Instead, they say, I want people to look at me when I walk down the street and say, he has a beautiful wife. And for a few years, people may indeed say that. For 5 or 10 years, they may admire her outward beauty. But what happens after that? Time passes, wrinkles appear, beauty fades, the glow of youth diminishes. And then what remains? If your love was based only on the external, then as beauty fades, so too does your affection. But if your love was based on her inner beauty, her patience, sacrifice, sincerity, and loyalty, then every wrinkle becomes a mark of honor. Every line on her face is a story of love, struggle, and motherhood. When she becomes the mother of your children, when you see how much she has given of herself, her sleep, her body, her comfort, for your family, then her wrinkles are not something to hide, but something to cherish. The more she has endured for your sake, the more she deserves to be loved. May Allah grant us this understanding. Because if you marry for the sake of looks alone, without caring about religion or character, as that outer beauty fades, what remains may even become unpleasant. But if you choose someone for their deen and conduct, their inner beauty will continue to grow. As the years pass, they will only become more beautiful to you because your hearts will be united in faith and mutual respect. Our Prophet has taught us how to choose a spouse. He said that when you want to marry, look at the person's religious commitment and moral character. Their level of deen should be at least equal to yours or better. Why? Because when you have children, you want them to be righteous and God-conscious. How will your children become spiritual if their own parents are not? Especially the mother. Her spiritual strength is crucial because she will spend the most time nurturing and shaping the hearts of her children. If she is connected to Allah, her children will naturally grow with that connection. So when a man seeks a wife, let him look for one who has strong faith, good manners, and a kind heart. Talk to her. See how she speaks, how she reacts in anger, how she treats people. If she uses foul language or curses when upset, that is a red flag, for your children will learn from her example. If you allow bad language in your home, your children will only grow worse in it. They will go beyond your limits, inventing new words and worse habits. But if your household is built on patience, decency, and respect, then that is what your children will absorb. Remember, they learn more from what you do than what you say. Children whose parents are their role models have a far greater chance of success in life than those who look up to others. Let me repeat this. Anyone whose role model is their parent has a far greater chance of success in this world and the next. Why? Because they see their parents every day. They see how they handle life's challenges, how they pray, how they speak, how they treat others. That's genuine. That's reality. A television role model or an online influencer only shows a polished image, a few minutes of edited life. But your parents and teachers are real examples you live with. Similarly, the companions of the Prophet were the greatest generation, not because they had wealth or fame, but because they lived with the Prophet himself. They saw him not only when he preached, but when he ate, laughed, wept, and prayed. They observed his life 24/7. That companionship molded them into the best of people. They weren't just his friends, sir. They were companions molded by his constant presence. This shows that companionship changes people. A person becomes like those he spends time with. Therefore, be extremely careful about your company. Not everyone who wishes to be your friend deserves that position. You must filter your company just as you would strain tea, separating the leaves from the drink. Good company will uplift you, but bad company will surely drag you down. The Quran and the Hadith both guarantee that the company you keep shapes who you are. So if you wish to marry, look first at who your potential spouse keeps as friends. Their companions will tell you a lot about who they truly are. Just as fish of one kind swim together, people of similar habits and beliefs move together too. Birds of a feather flock together. If your potential spouse spends time with people who frequent the masjid, engage in goodness and respect their faith, that's a strong sign of good character. But if they move in bad circles, stay away, because you will inherit those circles after marriage. Then the Prophet also told us to consider the family of the one we marry. What kind of people are they? What values do they live by? A family's influence shapes a person's upbringing, habits, and outlook. The Prophet mentioned that people marry for 4 reasons: wealth, lineage, beauty, or religion. Then he gave his divine advice: choose the one with religion. May your hands be filled with blessings. This means that while it's not wrong to consider the other aspects, appearance, family background, or financial stability, your final and most important factor must always be Deen. If she has religion, everything else will fall into place. But if she lacks Deen, then even the best looks, wealth, or family will not bring you peace. Some people misunderstand teaching. They think Islam commands them to marry someone they do not find attractive. That's not true. Islam is balanced. You can and should find your spouse attractive, but don't let beauty overshadow everything else. You can look for someone whose faith and character match yours and whose appearance pleases you as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you ever have to choose Deen. And remember, beauty is subjective. What one person finds beautiful, another may not. It's in the eye of the beholder. What's more, outward beauty fades, but the beauty of faith, manners, and sincerity only increases. So don't let movie stars or celebrities define your standards. They live in illusions, edited and filtered worlds that disappear when the lights go off. Even they, with all their fame and glamour, age and change. Time does not spare anyone. Islam teaches us to look at marriage as a lifelong journey of companionship, growth, and spiritual connection. If you marry for wealth, beauty, or status, there's no guarantee those things will stay. Wealth can vanish overnight, beauty fades with age, and status can be lost. But if you marry for faith, for character, and for inner beauty, that will only grow stronger with time. Such a marriage brings tranquility, respect, and mercy. The very qualities Allah describes as the foundations of marriage in the Quran. May Allah protect our dignity, purify our intentions, and grant us wisdom when choosing our spouses. May He bless us with homes filled with love, respect, and faith. May He make us role models for our children and make our children righteous and better than us. And may He unite our hearts upon the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad, whose example remains the most perfect light for every believer until the end of time.